Are back. We're back with part two of my movie collection, Blu-rays and DVDs. Today we're moving right on to the horror movies. All right. So I've got a stack right here. We're gonna get it started. First off, the first title is Possum. Okay. This came out 2017. I didn't see it till 2019. I'm not sure what the story is there. I don't believe there's a Blu-ray copy of this yet. I could be wrong. Anyway, I got the DVD because when I first saw it, I was so blown away. I just had to get a copy. I will show you the back to save my words. Look at that. Look at that. Very strange looking, very eerie, kind of kooky, you know? This movie is definitely unlike anything I had ever seen before. And the performances, the cast is very small, but the performances were great. They really made you feel like deeply invested in this kind of strange thing that's happening. And it leaves you with a lot of questions. And like I said, a very bleak movie, but very well done. And not many know about it from what I know. Next is Idle Hands. Okay. This is a horror comedy, mainly a comedy, I guess you could say. Loved this growing up. It was a VHS copy, and I would watch it from time to time. A little young to see it or whatever, but it was really, I just loved seeing it every time. And then later on, I was like, oh, let's see if that's still good or not. And yeah, it's definitely still good. It's not as serious as I remember, obviously, but I really like that movie. Then we've got Creep. Now, there's two Creeps, all right? There's the one with Mark Duplass, and then there's this one from maybe 2005. This is a really great underground, like subway type horror movie. The villain is sort of stereotypical or something you've seen before, but what really steals the show in this movie is the setting and different places that the characters go through and the things that happen. Very cool, very unique, and I love things that are sort of taking place in like a subway or an underground area that's kind of abandoned, or someone hasn't been there for a while, and the only person that has been there you don't want to be around, I guess you can say. If you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Next up is a very underrated. I don't know how well known it is. Yeah, I think this is sort of a slept-on movie. Um, I do know that it's kind of hard to get a copy. At least it was for me. That is Brotherhood of the Wolf. Okay, now this isn't entirely a horror movie. This is more. This is, well, for one, this is a French movie that has what feels like a lot. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 24 minutes. It feels like it could be much longer. There are horror elements, but there's so much more going on in the story. It's very complex, very well done, very intriguing, and definitely holds up. So check this one out. I don't know how to do it justice through my explanation, so you're gonna have to just look up a trailer for this one and see for yourself. But really cool. This is another one I saw when I was young and had to revisit. Loved every part of it. Great main character and great villain and sort of monster or whatever you call it. I don't want to give it away. There's the villains in this movie are very cool though, and the horror elements, I guess you could say, are very well done. Cool special effects too. Yeah, there's just a lot that I really enjoy about that movie. Then we've got my favorite Exorcist movie, Exorcist: The Beginning. Okay, this movie is great for so many reasons. I got the DVD. I think it was just because I was impatient. Um, then we've got The Grave Dancers. Now, I believe After Dark Horror Fest has also released, well, they've got plenty of movies, but they also did Lake Mungo, I believe, and I love that movie. This, I think, is honestly better between the two. This is sort of a paranormal possession type movie with very unique things going on, I think. The villain in this is very cool, really awesome special effects. Some of it is a little cheesy, but when you're watching it, or at least my viewing experience has always been really enjoyable in these sequences and everything about the movie. I really enjoyed it. And the acting, it's probably not Oscar worthy, of course, but you don't need that great of acting. The story is good enough, and I really like the paranormal investigators in the movie too. There's just a lot that I really enjoy. It's definitely an underrated horror gem. Now, next is sort of a must if you're a true horror collector and a horror movie fan and you want to see all that's out there, and that is Martyrs. Now, there was just recently, or not so recently, it may have been 2017, there was a remake of this. Now, this is the one you want to actually go see. This movie is this movie is, well, for lack of a better word, it's very disturbing and bleak. It's definitely not. I don't think it has much rewatch value, to be honest. It's more of a good addition for the horror collection. It definitely has like a good story, and it's very intriguing and interesting. Like, I definitely enjoyed it, but I don't see myself, going back to watch this constantly. Though when October rolls around, I definitely see this as one of those movies you want to bust out and just kind of get deep and dirty with it. It's very upsetting, though. I wasn't sure what wording to use before, but yeah, the whole thing about that movie is it's just very bleak and disturbing, and a lot of wrong things happen, but you get what you get, and you should know that going in, because it's one of the most, well, on the cover it actually says one of the most ferocious horror films ever made. I think that's definitely true, If you like to push the envelope, though, you've probably seen worse. American Psycho, the uncut version. I don't know if there's like a regular version that you can get. This is what I got on Amazon. Great movie, based off of the novel by Bret Easton Ellis. Love that movie. You can't go wrong. Then we've got Feast, unrated. Now, this is an awesome, fun time. It's kind of funny. It's kind of wacky in some parts. But really fun creature effects, The monsters in this movie are very cool. I liked it a lot. That's one of them right there. That's definitely the best part of this movie. You go in just for a wild ride with lots of gore and cool looking monsters, and most of this movie used practical effects, which is a huge plus in my opinion. Then we've got a super underrated, a real sleeper. Okay, this movie, not only do I think not enough people have heard of it, I don't think it gets the attention it deserves, and that is Session 9. This is hands down the most sort of disturbing and unnerving paranormal movie I've ever seen. Paranormal, supernatural. It's a ghost movie, for lack of a better word, and it's very well done. Oh my god. And the mental hospital is very eerie. They did a great job of capturing the unsettling vibe you get in this building. It's basically about a sanitation crew. They're either going in to tear up the building or restore it. I don't remember exactly, but they go and sort of uncover the history of this mental hospital, and there are dire consequences, I guess you could say. Very well done. It really leaves you with a horrible feeling, and that's a good thing in this case. I love that movie. Definitely a must for, when October rolls around, or just when you want to actually feel a little bit spooked, Not many movies do that for me. Now we've got a must for the collection, and that's John Carpenter's Halloween, 35th anniversary edition. You gotta have this one. My favorite Halloweens are 4 and 5, okay? I don't own those yet. Eventually I'll get the complete collection. But if you're just starting out, or you gotta get one of them, always go with this one, because this is an immaculate horror movie, and for a long time was probably my favorite. This next one is also pretty close in my favorites, and that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I also like part 2 a lot, but nothing holds up to the original, I think. Look at that. This is the 40th anniversary edition. I love this case. I love the cover art, everything about it. Really great. Then we've got Jeepers Creepers. All right. I love the second one as well. Haven't gone around to buying that one, but Jeepers Creepers 1, so good. And I'm sure when it came out, it was a very like different and original concept, you know. I've never seen a killer like this in any other movie. And you know, you could say killer or villain, whatever, you know. This character is very unique and original, and it's definitely been a favorite to see on screen, you know. There's so many abnormal and intriguing things about the character of the creeper, and the special effects are great too. They got even better in the second one, but you gotta have the original. And there is controversy around the director and his past, I guess you could say. Look into that. That makes the movie almost seem a little more disturbing, knowing a little bit about the guy who made such a creepy movie. But anyway, moving on. We've got the best vampire movie right next to Lost Boys and Near Dark, okay? And that is Bram Stoker's Dracula, all right? Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, Winona Ryder, boom, 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 all right? So good. The special effects, oof, through the roof, all right? They have one of the coolest like, what do you call it? The vampire in this, Dracula, when he becomes that nasty like bat thing, you know, like that looks so cool. There's nothing like that. You can see in movies like Daybreakers and other things like that, when they do that really nasty looking vampire, you can see where they get their ideas from, I guess you could say. There are a few vampires in Daybreakers and other newer movies where they do that sort of dirty and nasty looking vampire design, and it's all very similar to the vampire in this one. This is what I'm talking about right there. There you go. Yeah, it took a second to explain. There's also a great scene where Dracula becomes the werewolf or the wolf. I don't know exactly. Very cool. Love everything about that movie. That was a favorite growing up as well. Then we've got one of my favorite Nicolas Cage performances, and that's Mandy. This came out either 2018 or 19. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Go check this out. I may have done a review or a video featuring this movie a while ago. I'm not sure though. So anyway, check that one out. Sorry. I keep clearing my throat. And we've got It, the remake. I'm going to get part 2 eventually. But I love this remake. This is one of the rare occasions where the remake was maybe better than the original. In this case, I definitely think that's what ended up happening. I think the original miniseries were sort of the building blocks to make a better movie like this. And I was very pleased with the experience watching this. I saw this in the theater, and I also saw part 2 in the theater. I was very fortunate to be able to have that experience. Anyway, I love part 1 and I love part 2. Eventually I'll get the second one as well. And yeah, the miniseries doesn't really hold up, but that's all right. Suspiria, the remake, the original is just as good. I hold them right next to each other, okay? I love the original and I love the remake just as much, really. And there are very cool new takes to the original story in this one. Lots of great, like, visually pleasing scenes, and the horror in this, it's a slow burn, but it really does pay off, and you feel the sort of unnerving feeling, you know, as it like progresses, and I like that a lot. Next is another slow burn movie, and we're getting into a few A24 titles, and that's The Witch. Now this is great. They have a really kind of wild scene that pushes the envelope in this one with a baby, and oh my god, you didn't expect it, you know. the witch in this, really something else. I love this interpretation of the witch genre or whatever, you know. I love The Crucible, you know. I love that movie. This is this is no Crucible, okay? This movie is insane. Very well done. And the camera work and all of that. Everyone's got kind of a thick accent in the movie, which I don't really dig that, but it's all right, you know. It's a period piece. So then we've got Hereditary, super dark, well done horror movie by the director Ari Aster, who just bounced back in short notice with Midsummer, however you want to pronounce it. That was really cool too. I got to get a copy of that, but definitely check this one out and check out the other one. Then we've got Green Room. Don't really have to talk about that one. It is good. It's well done. Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. This is really something else. It's another A24 title. This is sort of a science fiction, extraterrestrial horror movie that I loved every second of. When I first saw it, the experience was really just so, I don't know what the word is. I had never seen anything like it. So every time I watch this, I love it just as much. The special effects are through the roof, super well done. And the performance by Scarlett Johansson is really well done as well. Yeah, I love everything about this movie. There's not one thing that I didn't enjoy. Definitely check this out. It's very weird too, very obscure. And an alien concept I had never seen before. Then we've got what might be the most controversial movie of all time. I gotta cover up part of the cover. Cannibal Holocaust. I can't show you the cover because of there's some nudity going on, but it comes with the soundtrack and the movie, you know, all that good stuff. Really great addition. That's the one that you should buy. There's some animal cruelty in the movie, just as a disclaimer. That is upsetting, of course, but the gore and violence towards the humans, you know, is much more preferable. You don't want to see the stuff done to the animals. It's kind of a shame that they put that in there, but altogether it's a good movie. And the other thing is this restoration of the movie, you know, seeing it in Blu-ray, it looks so good. It's really nice. Then we've got Blood Rage. This is an awesome Thanksgiving slasher horror movie with some comedy elements. I really do not like the very end of this movie. The ending is good. There's a slight twist, but the very end, right before it cuts to the credits, I have a huge problem with it. It drags for way too long. But the movie as a whole is really good, and the gore effects at the time were really advanced and realistic looking, which I really liked. Then we've got The Burning. Love Tom Savini's special effects in this one, and the killer is really cool. I love that. I love going back to watch this one. I think it's got great rewatchability. It's just a classic. Then we've got Hell Night. I'm going through my Scream Factory releases right now. This is the thing I love about Scream Factory. They've got this nice brand new artwork, and then you've got the original back there. Hell Night is a great slasher movie with a very different villain. I don't want to get into it too much. It was not at all what I was expecting, but I was pleasantly surprised. So definitely check this one out. I think it's an underrated one that deserves more credit. And then we've got H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond. This is an awesome movie with Jeffrey Combs. The special effects in this one are very cool, very, very exciting for the time, and it's got a lot of like slimy, gruesome, like weird, twisted scenes in it. I just loved all of it. This is sort of a science fiction horror movie. I love every aspect of it, even the ending. You know, there are certain things originally I didn't enjoy to the fullest, I guess you could say. But going back, the more I went back, I enjoyed it more and more. Not to say I didn't like it the first time. This is just one that really grows on you, even if you enjoyed it the first time. Anyway, that was a weird explanation for that movie. Anyway, just check that one out. Really great effects and just really good 80s fun, I guess. Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions is the next one, another Scream Factory release. You've got the new artwork and then the original. There we go. This I had never seen it before it got released. I bought it. It was a complete blind buy, and oh my god, I was pleased. Everything about this movie was so cool, and they have the director's cut and they have the original. I loved every bit of it. Great special effects, great villain, great villains, great main characters. I loved it. Ginger Snaps, one of my favorite werewolf movies. I don't have many. And we've got the original cover there. Definitely a different type of werewolf movie, but it's very well done. Then we've got another vampire movie that I like a lot. This is a very different story. It's Let Me In. Now, this is the remake of Let the Right One In. Both are very good. I think I enjoyed this one even more, though. And now, don't get me wrong. Both, you can hold them up right next to each other, and they're both very well done. But this is my personal favorite. And when it came out, I kind of knocked it. I was like, oh, I don't know about that movie. I ended up watching it later, and I was definitely pleasantly surprised. Then we've got a really cool indie horror movie, and that's It Follows. Okay. I may have done a video of this in the past, so I could be wrong, but most should know about that movie by now. Really well done. Then we've got Hatchet. There have been sequels, okay? You don't need the sequels. Just watch the first one. This movie has one scene in it where I still jump. I always forget about the jump scare, and it's gone me a few times. The special effects are great. The villain is awesome, and unrated director's cut is the way to go. I just love this movie. It's a real kind of throwback to old school slasher movies, and it's great. Yeah, it says the next icon of horror amongst the greatest slasher flicks of all time. I agree with those quotes, definitely. This is you don't have to watch the others. This is a great standalone slasher movie if you want to just watch the first one. The others are fine, but the first one is there's just something about it. Very well done. Now, this video could cut off at any time, so I might need to do another part. But next, we've got Wrong Turn 1 to 5. Now, people kind of shit on these movies sometimes because of the low budget quality as they went along. Let me first start by saying Wrong Turn 1 is amazing. Very cool, very awesome backwoods kind of cannibal horror movie. I love all the villains in it. The special effects are much better than the others in the first one, okay? Then you get into 2, 3, 4, and 5, Sure, they get cheesy, but this is a great movie to watch with your girlfriend or with a group of friends. It's just fun, like, watching these characters. They make stupid decisions and stuff, but it's kind of... The characters are cliche, horror types, of course, but... It's just very enjoyable watching the killers and the main characters and people try and get out of these situations. And then the gruesome and creative kill sequences. That is definitely a plus. That's really one of the main things you go into these movies for, is expecting there to be gruesome and sort of wild kill scenes. And you definitely get that, and it's very enjoyable. The special effects sort of falter as the series goes along, but I gotta defend those movies. The special effects, like I said, they falter, but it's still just a fun ride. Like, don't think about how bad the acting is in some parts, and don't think about how it's a little bit cheesy. Just go in, have a good time. You don't have to take it too seriously. I love every one of those movies. The fifth one is where they kind of do really lose it. But still, I find things I enjoyed in it. Mainly in the kill scenes, but it's good altogether, I think. Then we've got Eli Roth's Clown. This is a really cool clown movie. I don't I think the clown thing is very overplayed, and this is an awesome like body horror clown sort of concept that I've never heard of before. Yeah, the clown is great in it. The special effects are awesome. The story is good. It's intriguing. You know, it's kind of outside of the box. It's fun. I liked it a lot. Then we've got Daniel Radcliffe and Horns. Now, this was a novel by Joe Hill, which I haven't read yet, but I really like this movie. The first time I watched it, I wasn't sure, but if you go in skeptical, I think the movie really steals your heart in a lot of ways. I loved this movie. It is very rewatchable from time to time, and the special effects are great as well. Then we've got what I would say is a classic, and that's Cabin Fever. Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. I'm not going to get into this one, but oh my God, with the coronavirus going on, you have no idea how close I am to just morphing into one of these characters from this movie. The blonde guy who decides to move away from the group. He says, "Hey, you're all getting sick, and I don't want any of it." So he goes, takes a 6-pack of beers, and he just waits it out in the cave. And that was the right decision. That's what everyone else should have done, but they don't, and you get to see a lot of gory fun. Then we've got Hostel 1 and 2. Now, I don't really like Hostel that much, but Hostel 1, oh my God. Now, people say this is like torture porn or whatever. The sequels are, all right? The sequels are. Now, there's like unnecessary killing in the first one or whatever. There's unnecessary killing in all of them, okay? But the first one was an original concept when it came out, in my opinion, and I love it. I love watching it every time I see it. And it's been a while. I've been thinking about revisiting it sometime soon. Then we've got Trick or Treat. Now, this is a really well done, newer, I guess you can say anthology horror. It says the best horror anthology in years. Fangoria.com. Now, that is to the T. So well done, and an awesome character that kind of weaves all the stories together. I love it. You've got to watch this one every Halloween, even when it's not Halloween, all right? I watched this one a few months ago. I love it. It took me a while to get it for the collection, and I'm so glad I did. I'm going to break off the video right here and do another part. My horror movies continued, and then my box sets, TV shows, and other movies that kind of go in a miscellaneous category. All right, so that's all, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.